All right, y'all, so time for an update on the regeneration project here in Honduras, and I'm gonna get into it because there's always a lot to cover. I got about 5 more days left of work, but I think this is a good stopping point to show what we've been doing. If I could do another update video at the end of it, then I will, but for now, this is good enough. So the first thing I'm gonna point out is the neighbors preparing a field for beans this for the end of the rainy season. Just wanted to show kind of what the use is for preparing fields, slashing and burning. It's actually a good time of year to do it because it's still raining, and there's not a lot of like dry fuel everywhere. But this is it. Yeah, this is a kind of traditional technique that unfortunately isn't the best nowadays. It's just the way things are headed. I'm not going to get into it, but this is the use. You know, this field was fallow for about a couple years. I'm not sure exactly how much, and so it's, you know, I used to be very dogmatic back in the day about like anti slashing and burning, but it's ultimately an effective way of handling your land, and indigenous people all over the world used to, you know, burn to manage landscapes. It's just not what we're doing over here, but to each their own. Unfortunately, some of my this wild custard apple kind of thing felt some of the effects of the burn, so it doesn't look like the bark really got affected. I think just the heat itself, but it did look like it had some flowers and fruit, which is unfortunate. So we'll see what happens if it recovers. Oh, here's some little babies that, I don't know if you can see that right there. Probably kind of hard to see, but anyways, this is one that the birds planted. So let's get into it because there's a lot to cover. I'll put a playlist up of all the Honduras videos so that y'all can get an idea of what this used to look like in previous years. So this was the original banana patch that we planted to be the fertility bank for the rest of the system, and you know, we've been taking from the system to move else in other places, and we never really given back to the system. So we did a big reset. The bananas were starting to putter out anyways. Yeah, bananas, you know, could be hit or miss. They require a lot of fertility, and sometimes they succumb to different diseases and fungal issues. So I think this big reset will help. And also we've, you know, planted a lot of trees here as well, and the trees are now just starting to make their presence known. You know, like this cashew was a little baby not too long ago, and now it's huge, and so the bananas are kind of starting to phase themselves out. We have a big planting of Honduran mahogany, 318 macrophylla. We have a lot of these timber type species here. This is I think it's a Cordia Aleodora, or I'm not sure exactly the species, but I'm pretty sure the genus is Cordia. And but we're trying to keep this fence line a little bit more clear, just because this fence was a big investment, obviously, for our family. So it's recommended to not be planting things so close, especially things like bananas that can easily topple over. So we're phasing this out. But yeah, these bananas really did a lot for the system. So we're thinning them hard, and slowly but surely going to phase out. Nature is already doing it. Like I said, there's things already been planting. A lot of cecropias are starting to make their footing down here. What else? There was something else in here. I'm not sure what this is. This looks like a cashew from this cashew tree. So I don't mind trees that are easily managed, you know, that grow a little slower to be out here, but banana is definitely not the best option. Look at this rose apple that nature planted itself. So that's kind of the idea on this property. A little bit of a combination of actual planting and a combination of natural regeneration. So that's what we got going on. A lot of guavas, wild guavas out here. But I'll show kind of what we did. So now we brought all that material down and added it to the lines here that we have of the mahoganies. My mom had gotten a good deal on all these mahogany trees, and it wasn't quite my idea to have this many mahogany trees, but we planted them anyway so they wouldn't go to waste. And interestingly enough, they've been getting attacked pretty good by something here. I'll go to this one so you can see. I thought this patch was gonna be good, but I think there was just too much funk going on. You see that? Because the bananas were tall here. These sugar canes were tall. This is another thing we did, was bring down a bunch of sugar cane. It's insane how much sugar cane. We did a good job of chopping them down super thin into small chunks like that so that they don't sprout again. Sugarcane is a blessing and a curse. It's an amazing plant, but if you don't manage it correctly, it can get out of hand very fast. And I think that's what happened, just getting a little bit stifled by all the bananas and sugarcane. Some of these mahogany trees just had a tough time dealing with the insects. You know, it's the tropics. Insects do not take a break. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you plant out here in the tropics. And that's why we planted so densely. Wasn't sure. I've been farming long enough to know that nature will take a lot of your crop no matter what. So definitely planted super heavily, but what we're doing now is interplanting in between, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be keeping all of these mahoganies, but they're almost like a placeholder and future canopy trees. So what we've been doing is putting some avocado seeds. It's avocado season right now, the tail end of avocado season. And so yeah, I've been collecting a lot of avocado seeds, and it's a crop that I'm very interested in now, because it's something that can sell at the market, in the market town. And we've already been collaborating with a neighbor of ours, a young kid, about like 18 or 19 or something. Had to grow up fast, like a lot of kids in Honduras do, and the mayor of the village actually gave him a little plot of land so he could build his house on, for him and his mom and his siblings. And he did it. You know, he got the funds together, he got the work together. He did a lot of the work himself. He got some help, and now he's our neighbor right down, literally right down on the other side of the main road there. And yeah, he's just finding every which way to get ahead and make some money for him and his family. So he's been coming in and harvesting our avocados and selling them at the market town. And he does that at a lot of different people's properties. And yeah, that's kind of the idea of this land. You know, it's partly regeneration for sure, but also collaborating with the locals to provide value and hopefully have an example of the financial incentive of, you know, maybe keeping more trees and not burning completely your land like is the norm here. Here we got a Coccolospirmum vidifolia, which is a Berberia, I think yellow buttercup tree or something. We have another one over there. So a lot of this was a very kind of grassy area. It was nothing but grass and bananas, and now we're trying to get a lot of biomass onto this area so that other things can start coming up. So we have a lot more of the natural pioneer species coming up in this area. Another Berberia right here. Like I said, Cecropias are coming up as well. So this won't be totally sunny, you know, no canopy area in a few years. And yeah, and we're phasing the bananas out because they've done their job. And like I said, I'm trying to hone in on crops that are actually going to help not only the environment, obviously, but the people here in the village. And avocados are the one that we're leaning into. So now we're coming to the cashew grove here. This was one of the first little things that I personally planted. And you can see it's kind of just agroforestry type of rows here with a lot of biomass. And look at that spider. And yeah, I'll just kind of go ahead and show you what's up here. Mahogany. There is a this is a cool tree right here, a little spiny right there. This is what do they call it? It's a fabaceous tree. Might have to make some more space for it because I do want one, but these cashews just look so good. Erythrina is the genus. But yeah, these cashews are just starting to push. Look at the beautiful new growth. Look at this big old cashew. Look how thick they're starting to get. So cashews are super important in the sense that they're super drought tolerant. They can handle our dry season and they'll just keep growing no matter what. They're evergreen. The leaves are super thick, nice mulchy material. Still trying to find a way to commercialize them, or the fruit are not very transport. They don't transport well, so having them go to the market is probably not the best option. But as just a food for a snack tree, it's definitely a winner. So much appreciation to the cashews. They've been doing an amazing job. Another tree that's been doing an amazing job for us is the Guazuma umifolia. This is a fast-growing tree that is a little bit farther ahead in succession compared to the Berberia, the Coccospermum vidifolium right here. This is a super soft wood. It's pretty much just moisture. There's not a lot of lignin in there. It's just cellulose or whatever. And so it's not really functional in the sense of human functionality, like firewood or building material, whatever. But it grows like mad. Awesome fertility maker, And then the next step up is the cablote, they call it here, mutamba in Portuguese, West Indian elm, I think in English. And grows like mad, just like, other pioneer species, but it actually has very high functionality in terms of fuel wood and building wood for small things, but for firewood for sure, it's great for that purpose. So we're loving the Guazuma umifolia. Coppices super well too, and pollard super well, as you can see. So it's one of those that could be in the system and coppice on a regular basis. Another one is the guavas. Like I said, the guavas are just, I've been embracing the guavas big time, and you'll see they're just everywhere here and there. It's like they're doing so much work. I don't even have to do any work nowadays. The guavas are just popping up everywhere. And here's another one. This is a nance, another one that's a native, just a beautiful tree. A little bit slower growing, but it does provide a lot of food for the wildlife, and very popular in Honduran culture as well. Fermented nance fruit. So maybe another thing that could be that we could collaborate with our neighbor and see if we can. The idea is to hopefully help that neighbor have more of a market presence. Right now he just he walks the streets and hawks things. So see if we can help him develop the business model a little bit more. Really exciting for me because I absolutely love the growing side of things, but I'm not the best at business side of things, and he seems to have a good head on his shoulders and wants to put forth the effort to grow something like that. So definitely looking forward to collaborating some more. But anyways, here's some more cashews. Looking super amazing. These cashews, they're starting to get thick. They're starting to get tall. I don't know if you can see that all that well. Nice big leaves underneath. And for the future long term, last time I was here, it was this is guapinol, jatoba in Portuguese, Hymenaea cubareo is the Latin name. Amazing tree. Is stinking toe fruit in English. Amazing long-term tree. Amazing timber species. The fruit is extremely nutritious. You can make like a flour out of the powder inside the seed pod, and I'm definitely stoked about this tree. I'm not sure why, but I feel so called to this tree. Just feel like there's so much power in these trees, and we don't really want to bring them back because they're, at least in this area, they're a little few and far between. People don't really appreciate them like they probably once did hundreds of years ago. So another big one is mango. A lot of mangoes. There's a lot of ancient mango trees on this property planted. So this property was originally like my great grandparents' property. My mom was born on this property. My grandma was a little kid in these mountains. So there's a lot of family significance here, and a lot of the mango seed stock has come directly from the mango trees that my ancestors have planted. So there's a really cool sort of continuation legacy about that. I love that part of it all. Cecropias have just been going absolutely crazy. This is the seed pods for the bedbeddia, for the Coccospermum vidifolium. Got the cotton vibe, spreads in the wind in the dry season. The Guazum, these Cecropias have been doing an amazing job. We're gonna do some thinning for sure, but we save that to the very end because of the Azteca ants that live inside of the Cecropias. I see if I can find some. Sometimes they're out and about, but usually later in the day. Oh no, I don't know. They're little orange ants that patrol the Cecropia plants. And see, there it is. There's one. There's usually a lot more. They patrol the Cecropia plants and protect it. It's a very beautiful symbiotic relationship. Oh, here's another one. There they are. They're starting to scurry around now. So don't ever, like when you're resting out here, don't lean up on the Cecropia tree because yeah, you'll be in for a surprise. And you should see how it is. I try to film it when I cut one. You should see how crazy it is, how many come out of there. So we always do the Cecropias towards the end. So a quick update on this little hillside. We've been felling a lot of these the Cecropia trees here, mainly because it blocks, well, many reasons. One, it blocks the view of the house down to the valley down there. That's one of the things, but that's kind of a minor cosmetic kind of thing. It's more so to bring down the organic matter and create some erosion control. So you can see here, here's a good example. So even though we cut them down, the root masses are still very much practical in the sense of erosion control. Look how firm I can stand here. But the logs themselves, it's hard to walk on contour here. The logs themselves could be laid down, especially if you have two root masses here that you can use as like braces. So now we have like a platform here to help slow down erosion when it rains. Because you can see how I could stand on here, and as soon as I take a step, I'm slipping already. And that's kind of the idea, to create like platforms so that erosion, you see how I'm standing, can slow down and hopefully catch seeds and keep the fertility on site and not have it just wash away. And as we get down into the slope, it gets a little bit more gradual. It's a lot easier to stand next to either the root masses themselves or the little platforms that we're making with the biomass. Hopefully they don't roll down. So that's the update for the hillside here with the cecropias. And yeah, so more cashews as well. A lot of cashews. I'm not sure, like I said, it might be a situation where these cashews are just purely, we prune them up super high and have them as like as a more of a support species and figure out, because the long-term strategy here is, like I said, figure out crops that could be commercialized. And I'm leaning into cacao. I'm feeling like we have enough canopy at this point to start playing with those grafted trees as well. We have enough sort of biomass to keep them happy. So grafted mangoes and things of that nature that will sell very well in the markets. So yeah, for now it's just whatever we can get our hands on. There's a saying in syntropic theory, like the best seeds to plant are the ones that you have access to. And I really like that in general. Here we have just a little patch of pineapples in here. Very kind of just a rough patch. I should have focused my energy on beefing up this spot here because it's flat and it's easy. But it kind of skipped my mind. I'm not sure why. But the general trend that I like to do is, plant out the easy parts. Go like path of least resistance. Plant out the easy parts and then use the fertility of the easy parts to slowly but surely encroach into the more marginal, rocky, not so fertile parts of the system. So I kind of did a little backwards over here, you'll see. But it's all good. There's no wrong decisions in agroforestry. It's just you just wait until the next round to do that. So here we're coming into a more marginal area, a lot of rocks, and just a lot of gnarly weeds that can take this kind of rough environment. And we've been making nests with the banana biomass. You can see here, this is how it looks before you put all the foliage on top. And we're still going to add more stuff too, especially in areas like this where it's rocky and there's crazy weeds. It's not just like regular grass. There's just like a lot of spiny species inhabit this area. So you really, really want to go hard on the biomass in areas like these, not only for the fertility, but to keep away some of those crazy spiny and hard to deal with weeds. So that's what we've been doing here. So like I said, I wish I kind of would have done that into that area over there where it was more fertile, but I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I was just trigger happy to want to start planting this area out, and I'm tired of it being just a weedy mess up here, rocky weedy mess. So yeah, you can see I've been starting to plant avocado seeds. So avocados are the only thing that are getting planted here because that's all I got right now. And obviously nature, another cool thing when you put this much biomass in is that now nature doesn't have to fight so hard to put up trees. They don't have to fight against these gnarly weeds. They can find a little crack, fall into there and something will come up. So you're kind of making it easy for nature to do her thing as well. Because here's a good example. Here's one of those cordia trees, and it was able to sprout here, and now we're just gonna help it out and give it some biomass. Okay, obviously the guavas are able to take this rough spot. I guess I'll go up here and show this is another biomass bank that we've been cultivating. Nature had already claimed this kind of rough, rocky spot to guavas and to berberia and cecropia. So there's a bunch of these support species here. Look at that. It's a beautiful canopy. Just a lot of coppice shoots coming up. So this is a very beautiful spot. Like we have some Guazuma umifolia starting to pop up. So now we're getting into a little bit higher succession. So that's a good sign. Obviously the guavas are. This is interesting. This is a different guava, more of a white hue to it. Super smooth white hue. Interesting diversity in the guavas themselves. But yeah, this is a super cool spot because it just goes to show that nature does have the tools to handle kind of rough conditions like these, and you don't have to do much because nature's has it covered. But I think there is something to be said. I don't think when we were renting out the land to our family members to cultivate their corn and beans, I don't think they really touched this area as much. So when they did burn, they burned like the more arable parts. So maybe that's why this one got, you see, look at all that shade, beautiful. I think that's why this didn't get as badly touched, because it just wasn't the best for corn cultivation. Whereas this all did. So this was like straight up grass, a lot of grass. And now we're coming into an area that I'm very proud of. Oh yeah, another tree I want to talk to you about is Zorro. I forget the exact Latin name, but it's a super cool fabaceous little plant. Very light canopy, and it grows very fast. The inflorescences are super beautiful. They droop. I'm gonna put a list of all the trees and their Latin names and the profile. There's a website I love, so I'll just put all the trees down in the description so you can see. And I'm not 100% sure if this is the one, but I'm pretty sure it is. If anything, it's similar to the one that I think it is. So yeah, big shout out to there's people on the road. Big shout out to Alexis and Gustavo for really understanding the assignment and getting the bigger picture. They do a super good job of spotting and eyeing trees that they know I would like, and leaving them to grow. So Zorro has been a big one for them. They've been leaving a lot of these, and I've been seeing the difference. These are already popping up because when they're small, they're so easy to be confused for like just a little weed, like a kind of like a little fabaceous weed or something. They look like just a little annual weed, honestly. So really appreciate them for keeping their eye out for the zorros and letting them grow. More guava. So yeah, this area, gotta take a moment to appreciate the guava. Look at that. The guava. Oh man, amazing wood, and just an amazing presence, dropping fruit like crazy, attracting so much wildlife. It's an amazing tree. So cannot stress how important the guavas are for the system. Okay, so this area was let me go against the sun. We've been doing a lot of managing of the lemongrass. I'm a big fan of lemongrass for this system particularly, and yeah, we've just been feeding all these pineapples. Pineapples can be a pain in the butt to put biomass around, like woody, chunky stuff. But with grasses, they're easier. So we've been prioritizing putting lemongrass onto the pineapples. So yeah, you can see lemongrass just does an amazing job. It has such a wide radius that the soil around it just remains moist and beautiful. So yeah, this area was a bit of a tricky area to begin with because leafcutter ants had called it their home, and other like ant species, and there was just a lot of ant damage going on here. And so what I did was just bring in a ton of biomass from the ancient mangoes over here. As you can see, I came in and just got tons of sacks of the old leaves and stuff, and brought them over here and just filled this place up with biomass. It was awesome to see how much biomass we were able to put here, and I think that helped drive the ants away. And now there's so many things planted in here. It's so cool to see. We really went dense here, which was kind of the point, to see if we can combat the ants, and yeah, it definitely worked. Cashew here, more Honduran mahogany, got berberia is starting to creep up. The cecropias are up there doing their thing. Unfortunately, there's a power line that runs through here, so I'm not going to leave any super tall trees here. Unfortunately, you can see how it goes down here. So this entire, obviously I don't want to have any issues with power line issues. So these cecropias are gonna have to go for sure, but they've been doing an awesome job helping these young trees get established. Here's another guapinol. Here's another one. I planted so many of these because why not? I'm gonna pick the strongest ones and leave those to grow. And then the mangoes, of course. Rose apple season coincides with the guapinol season, so I planted a bunch of those as well. So you can see rose apple, guapinol, rose apple, mango, and just tons and tons of biomass. We have this is the zorro when it's young, so very, very, just very light. It doesn't really look like a tree, but it is, and it will grow as a tree. So we have some. I had my little cousin just scatter a bunch of seeds of these. These were I think the genus is Cimaroba, but I'm not sure what the species is because there's two. There's Cimaroba glauca and Cimaroba amara, and I don't know which one it is, but they call it negrito here. Gives like little black olive looking things. And other places they call it aceituno, which is like a little olive tree. More cashews here. Yeah, you can see the remnants of the oh, where is it? Here it is. Just like the undulations of the earth because of the this was a big, you can see this big hole. This was a big ant nest here. Some of the mangoes are already to my chest. We have this firebush looking kind of thing here that the pollinators love. I try to keep them so that they attract birds and stuff, and hopefully they can deposit other things. This is an awesome tree here, Licania platypus, sun zapote. They call it urraco here, so it's a beautiful tree. It gives like this big almost like primordial fruit with like tons of beautiful, amazing taste, but it's like tons of fibers in there, and I don't know, this really reminds me of like some ancient tree that like megafauna would eat or something. I don't know, but a beautiful tree, and the wood is functional as well for many things, and it grows freaking huge. These trees grow huge. If I get a chance to do a tour of the household area, because we have trees and stuff up there too. It's actually very beautiful up there. I should have done that today since my family's gonna come here tomorrow, so maybe I'll do that. Anyways, they get big fast, so definitely stoked about it. Here's another tree I'm super stoked that Mother Nature has planted for us. This is some type of Ceiba. This is a whatchamacallit in English, silk floss. It's just now starting to get its thorns. You can see that. And a little baby, and here's a little baby zorro right next to it. So, yeah, which is perfect. Love that. But these things grow. So we have a very beautiful one up there that'll show that nature planted as well. Some of the guanacasas are starting to take off. They've been doing pretty bad, honestly, since I've planted them. They were been succumbing to insect disease, like insect damage and stuff, and I'm not sure why they didn't do much in the first couple of years, but now they're starting to do good. Actually, I think one of my uncles planted this one. He found it growing out of like a sand pile over there when we constructed the fence. Here's another sansapote urraco. So super cool tree. Here's some more of those cimarrobas. They just all, sprouted. So some more avocados. Again, avocados are a big help for us. They grow so fast. They grow straight up. The seed is huge, so there's a lot of power in those seeds. And again, they're marketable. So that's something that we're super interested in, and is leaning heavy into avocados. Here's a beautiful avocado right here. I just tipped it up there, so it was shooting up to the stars. So I tipped it for ease of harvesting later down the line. Here's a beautiful avocado that one of my family members planted when we first bought the property, and it thankfully escaped the fire that other family members made to plant out this area. So this is one of the OGs. Hasn't fruited yet, but it's been an amazing sort of just statement tree, kind of helping to buffer things out here. A lot of biomass on the ground, of course. Napier grass biomass. So another sansapote. It doesn't look too good. I'm not sure what the deal is, but that's why we plant in abundance. Another mango out here. So yeah, definitely a far cry from what this looked like. Oh yeah, this is where we got the bananas to do the banana biomass, over in that rocky area, which is why I was like kicking myself for not just doing it right here. It's just a much easier thing to do, but we'll do that on the next round. Yeah, definitely it's been crazy to see the difference. Just look at some of the old videos and see what this used to look like. It's so crazy in such a short amount of time as well. Yeah, one tree I actually want to talk about as well, and I'll put the information on the description, is this tree that came up. Mother Nature planted this one, and we call it here in Honduras, it's called colorado, which means like colorful. Here it is. It has a crazy Latin name that I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Here it is. But it's a national tree of Nicaragua. I think they call it madroño over there. Super colorful bark as well. Amazing flowers, super beautiful display of flowers, these white flowers. And so, yeah, there's another tree that the guys spotted and kept. So I'm super stoked about this tree. Something about that tree calls out to me as well. Yeah, here's a nice little stand of those cordias I was talking about. There's a big tree of it over there. It's probably where all the seeds are coming from. They call it laurel here in Honduras. It's a pretty good timber species and grows straight. It's very, it's like a eucalyptus analog almost. Here's another jatoba. So the amount of tree species here, nice row that we just did yesterday of biomass for the pineapples. The amount of tree species here is incredible. It's really, I'm just super stoked to see the progress. To have seen this be just a field of weeds to now just this very complex, thriving ecosystem with tons of birds, tons of crazy insects I've never seen before. Lots of bats at night. Bats are a big, there's a cool butterfly I've been seeing around right now. I don't know if you can see that. There it is. Yeah. Tons of bats. Bats are really important pollinators here in the tropics, and they don't get enough credit, I think. Everyone talks about the birds and the bees, but you gotta think about the bats too. So they feed on tons of fruits and drop them everywhere, and really stoked to see a lot of bat activity out here at night. And then we're coming into another sloped area here. I'm going to see if I can just do a quick walkthrough, talk about some species. Here we have a very common theme here, where we have right here primary succession species, in this case Cecropia, and right at the foot of it a higher succession species, which is Cashew. And this these Cecropias need to come down to make space for the cashews. And in this case it's cashew, but sometimes it's a mango, sometimes it's another plant. Here's the Guazuma omifolia again. They since they do coppice very well, they kind of like sucker a lot, so it'd be nice to leave this one leader. Need to do a lot of managing for the leaders. Here's a tree I missed that I really wanted to show. This is they call it paterna here. It's some sort of inga. I'm not quite sure which one it is, but it's grown so much and seems like more characteristics for identification. So if anyone can help me identify which inga this is, just from the leaves alone. I have pictures of the fruit, so maybe I can include them there. But super stoked on this inga. I planted a bunch of them, and a lot of them didn't do too hot, but this one did survive. So I think this is the only one I have so far. So yeah, another cool inga to add to the list of all the awesome trees that are here. So yeah, beautiful, super beautiful. One of my favorite parts of the farm here is this little spot right here. Nice and cool. A lot of shade, a lot of trees coming up on the understory, a lot of guavas just scattered everywhere. We have some mahoganies planted in here, but yeah, I've been noticing that the mahoganies just don't do too well in the deeper shade. I think they really actually enjoy being out in the sun. So we have this is a cool tree that has been super helpful to us as well. Hovel, nice textured bark. I believe it's a type of spondius, but I'm not really sure. I really don't know what that one is. I've been trying to like get down to the bottom of it, but I really couldn't tell you which one it is. I guess I'll go up here. Another one of these guavas. Man, I just love the guava wood so much. Yeah, super nice ambiance in here. So nice to have a shady spot like this. So this place is perfect for cacao and other shade-loving plants. So that's part of the idea, is to cultivate the farm to make it look like this, and then edit from there and put in higher value trees over time and bring in sunlight accordingly. I always liken it to like showing up on a job site with more materials than you need, because you're never gonna have to worry that you have to go back to the hardware store or something like that. It's the same here with agroforestry. It's always nice to just have a little patience, have the ambiance to have way more than you need, so that you never have to worry about needing more biomass, needing more shade, whatever. Here we do have a fruiting spondius of some sort. Spondius do like a little bit more sunshine, so they're pretty good. I haven't tasted one. They're still green right now, so I haven't tasted a fully ripe one. Right, I tasted like one or two overripe ones, and they weren't the best. But still, another wildlife tree, bring in critters and hopefully other trees as well. Really like the structure of it too. Let's see. This is another important one. It's more of a clumping type of plant. This is a Piper aduncum. They call it cordoncillo here. Very medicinal. There's like a lot of medicinal properties to it. People sell like dried, crushed up bags of these for teas. Let's see. Here's the mahogany. It looks pretty decent. Pushed on new growth. Super nice mango. Here's another example of the here we have berberia trees that grew first and produced the canopy, and now we have mangoes down here. So it's time for the mangoes to get their share of the sunlight. So this has to go eventually. But the cool thing about berberia is that it is deciduous, so it does lose its leaves in the wintertime and in the dry season, I should say. And anything underneath it kind of does some of the work for you. Deciduous trees are nice like that. You don't have to feel so stressed about pruning them because they'll go dormant anyways. All right, here's a cool spot here. There's another sort of rocky. Oh yeah, another thing I wanted to touch on was just the legacy. A lot of the things that I talk about are just leaving things for the future generations, making things easier for the future generations, and talking about my my ancestors that planted all these big mango trees that I'm benefiting from. They also did a lot of rock work. It's very common here when preparing land to do rock berms like these. You can see here all these rocks, so that it's obviously easier to plant, corn or beans or whatever your crop is in a place that's not so rocky. You just concentrate your rocks all in one spot, and obviously it helps making like a terrace almost. So I think a part of the reason why this area is the way it is because of that energy and effort that my ancestors put into making these rock dams, slowing that water down and making it less rocky out here. I'm sure these rocks came from around here, making it easier for things to naturally seed. So just cool, super cool part about this all is connecting with my roots as well, and benefiting from the work that they did, they were doing to make their lives easier, but also now making my life easier because of it. So just those are the things I think about when I work on the land, knowing that at some point, some young kid 100 years from now will be benefiting from all these trees. Hopefully. That's what keeps me going, at least. So I really want to come out here one day when it's raining and see how water flows through this landscape. It looks really cool. But anyways, I gotta show you the big Ceiba tree, soak floss tree that's up here. So here's a ficus. Ficus trees are super important for ecology of tropical areas because they grow in extremely inhospitable places, and they're evergreen, and they produce tons of fruit for bats and other pollinators and other birds and stuff. And like I said, they just grow like mad anywhere, any rock crevice, anywhere. Here's a tatascan that is playing an important role over at Luis's property in Cihuatepeque. It's not playing much of a dominant role here, but there are a few of them here. So you can see just how powerful they are. Seem to be able to take some shade too, which is pretty cool. Beautiful flowers on that. It's an Asteraceae, so of course it has beautiful flowers. Here's another Nance tree. Very stoked about these. Another sorro in that sunlight. So super stoked about the sorros. Okay, now let's go to the big mama. You can see another rock wall up there. I think that's more recent though. I think we did that for when we were building the house. Here's another Guazuma omifolia. Nice, beautiful tree. Very, very practical tree. Of course, another avocado. There's a high density of avocados around the house, as you can imagine. When we toss out avocado pits, they grow like weeds here, so And here it is, Big Mama. Start at the buttress roots, beautiful buttress roots, some of the spines, and then just look at this beauty. Wow. So that little baby Ceiba that I showed you down there, this is what it's gonna look like in a few years. These suckers grow fast. Amazing tree of life type deal. Super hospitable for like large quantities of birds once these things get big, to like nest in and roost in and just hang out in because of its crazy branching structure. So there's no secret to why there's a town called La Ceiba here in Honduras. It's a magical, amazing tree. There's a lot of cultural significance here for the tropics, all over the tropics. So that's that. Here's another ficus looking tree here. Super stoked about. I didn't even know that was there. Always new surprises. Oh look, there's another one. This one's not doing too hot though. I think nature is saying there's room enough for one over there. But yeah, that's the house. I need to really show y'all the labor of love that my parents have been doing for the past like 12 years, 13 years. It's a very beautiful house, very beautiful property. Yeah, I'm so grateful to my parents for wanting to go forward in their dreams of building out here. Another tree I forgot to mention was this ficus tree. Well, I didn't mention ficuses, but I forgot to show this one. This one has been developing super nice, and look at that. Look at all the surface roots it's putting over the rocks. The ficus, like super old mature ficuses, are like they are whatchamacallit, just an emblematic of like old tropical forests, very old growth mature tropical forests. So this thing has been growing like crazy, and I'm so excited to see. Look at all these. If you think about like Cambodia, the Angkor Wats and those old temples, all those big ficus type trees growing all on the old temples. That's the vibe that this is gonna give off, and I just love them so much. I was thinning in the back so you can see they do emit that milky latex stuff. But yeah, I was getting ahead. It's important to get ahead of these ficuses so they don't go too crazy. So I'm thinning them to the thickest leaders. So yeah, putting material down for a new planting area down here. Look at all that material. So just that little update. So yeah, that's kind of the deal. We have a bunch of early succession trees everywhere, and practical trees, and now we have a good canvas for adding in more trees that require a little bit more fertility, more shade, or things of that nature. So we're looking towards the future and seeing what we can grow now in these conditions, now that there's it's more hospitable conditions out here now. Super old trees as well. Really love seeing the ancient trees out here. It's an old avocado up there. But this path is one of my favorites. This tree is another super rugged one. Grows slow, but grows steady. Super nice tree. Chaparro. Crazy sandpaper-like leaves. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is, but it gives super beautiful flowers. I looked it up and figured it out one day, but I forgot it already. This is Agua, Genipa americana. Super cool tree, native tree. I'm very interested in the Pre-Colombian trees for Mesoamerica. I really I don't know why there's that part of me, the little ethnobotanical part of me that really loves picturing what this landscape could have looked like pre-Columbian times, and what food sources were available. And imagine, like, there's no mangoes back then. There's a bunch of mangoes here now. Mangoes are all over the world now, but there was a time in Mesoamerica where mangoes are not a thing. Hard to imagine, but it's true. Big beautiful mango here. So yeah, another Inga. There's an Inga type species here. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Here's a Indio desnudo, Bursaria something, I forget. I think this is what this is. Yeah, there's a couple of species of trees that have this like flaky bark, but super cool tree. Definitely remnants of I think like a fence line. So an old fence line here, you can see. And here's the oh, that was a big lizard. A mature guapinol tree here. Super nice. I can't wait for this to start giving fruits. Can't wait. I really want to experiment with that tree. That's another pre-Columbian native tree. Big food source for indigenous people all over tropical America, actually. And then this is another one which I'm very excited about. Let's see where it's at. I think it's this one. No. Oh, this one is a type of... Nice. I forgot about this one. This is a tababuya. So it's going to be a nice flowering tree. Mangoes are still producing. It's very late in the season for them to be producing, but ancient trees, I think, give a little bit more. So this one, if I'm not mistaken, is forgot the Latin name, but to all my friends out there who are botanically inclined, I'm thinking that this is Maya bread nut, the the Maya bread nut, I think is what's the common name. I'm blanking on the scientific name. Wow. But either way, this was a very the seeds of this were utilized by indigenous people for many years, and I'm super stoked that it's on this property, and it seems to hang out in the shade pretty nice. Just waiting down here, waiting for a disturbance to clear these old mangoes. So I might do that one day and give these some space, because I would love to see these fruit and plant some more of these and actually experiment with the nuts, if that's what they are. They call it San Ramon here in Honduras, and by all accounts, I've showed pictures to people, and they said that, yeah, this is what it looks like when it fruits, and yeah, that's what the flowers look like. And nowadays, the colloquial, like the name for it in Mexico, I think it's called Ramon as well. So all data is pointing to it is the Maya bread nut or whatever it's called. So I'm hoping that it is, because that's awesome. And more avocados here. We did some chop and drop yesterday, and it's already starting to decompose. So at some point here, we're going to do some sort of managing on these ancient mangoes to let in a little bit more sunlight, but that's down the line. But that's kind of it. I think that's plenty of another avocados. We're back at the spot down here. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a good enough update. There's so much life now. Look at so much more canopy, so much more diversity. There's a lot of possibility now for different fruit trees, and I'm looking forward to that aspect of things. I am a farmer at the end of the day, but I do love the regeneration part so much, and I feel like I've been absolutely enthralled with the regeneration part these first few years, but now that it's sort of now that it's at this point, I'm starting to feel the pendulum swing a little bit more to my farmer side now. I'm like, okay, how do we get some production out of here as well now? That's kind of how I am in general. I usually swing like that. Conservationist, nature lover for a little couple whatever months, and then I'm like farmer side comes out for a couple more months, and I'm back over to the regeneration, nature loving part, and then back to like, all right, what are we gonna chop down to bring in sunlight so we can make, so having a blast out here, and thank you all for watching all the way to the end and for supporting the online store that helps fund this project. And that's it. I don't got much else. I'm sure that this place will look different in next time I come here to make an update, but for now this is what it looks like. So